Hello viewers, it's Sentai from Screen Review, bringing you a new podcast from my series called The Super Sentai Review. And like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly, in case you don't understand me. Also, I try to do my best not to be so hard during this audio podcast recording as well, not to cause any audio feedback as well. And finally, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will have some adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will change to adult language if you're under 18. Now, if you're over 18, then you need to get to watch this audio podcast recording. So anyway, let's get into the latest episode of Zenkaiger. So basically, it starts off at the bad guys' headquarters, being the chosen Tinto dynasty, palace. We see King Volka yelling at Professor Aizen, Stacy, and Colonel Bashin. But while he was yelling at him, he was petting his pet robot bird, his pet robot talking bird, Gene, even though he did fail, his monster fell in the previous episode to destroy the Zenkaigers, he was not mad with him. He was more mad with Stacy, Bashin, and Aizen for their past failures to how many times they tried to destroy the Zenkaigers and failed. So basically, he was more happy with Ging Least. At least Ging almost see, but it is what it is. So anyway, King Booker just decided to let Ging, get a second chance, his bird Ging a second chance to pick a chosen gear from the pile, and set a monster to get rid of the Zenkaiger. So basically, turned back in, got the pile of chosen gear, and Ging pick one by random, and pick one of the chosen gears from the bucket or from the bow by random, gave it to the Professor Aizen, and turn that chosen gear into a monster. Meanwhile, we see either the Zenkaigers were hanging out doing their own thing. We see Kaido hanging out with Zuran, eating fried octopus. We see Magine, doing fortune telling readings. We see Gal, doing some food shopping. Food shopping, and we see Broom at the library hanging out, and all of a sudden everybody they became magnetized, so everything metal starts to stick to them like they've been magnetized. So basically, not only just them, all the people in Kaiwoods around the city start to become magnetized, and all metal starts to stick to people around the city. That includes the Kaiwoods as well. So anyway, turns out that the chosen gear that Ging picked out was the power had the power of magnet world. So basically, this monster had the power of magnetism. So basically, they tracked down. So basically, even though with their magnetic state, they was able to track down the monster. They tracked down the magnet monster, but they did have some difficulty transforming, they managed to pull it off, and so basically they started to fight the monsters, but it was kind of difficult because them being magnetized and all these metal objects being stuck to them. So basically, the Magnet Monster had got the upper hand against the Zenkaigers, and managed to defeat them real quickly. And he decided to retreat for now. And Zox, aka Two Cards, showed up after the Magnet Monster, pretty much defeated Kaido and the others. So basically, Zox was like, damn, I missed missed the fight. So anyway, so the guy, so basically, Kaido the others headed back to his grandma's shop, grandma's store, except for Zox, aka Two Kaido. So basically, Kaido and the others headed back to Kaido's grandma's store, while except for Zox, she decided to, go track down the monster. So anyway, so basically they were still magnetized when they got into Carter's grandma's store. They saw Stacy, eating an ice cream sundae that Carter's grandma made for him. So Carter's grandma owns a candy store, that makes, desserts and shit, also regular food and all that shit. So anyway, so basically they were kind of shocked. So basically, and Carter's grandma was like, oh, do you know Shadashi? So basically Stacy met grandma in the previous episode. So basically he's going by Shadashi. So basically he told his name was Shadashi. So basically he's lying about his name to his Carter's grandma. So basically Zuran was about to whack Stacy. Was about to rat out Stacy, but Kaido stopped him for stop him to do so, because he didn't want to make a scene with his grandma there. So basically, when Stacy's spoon got stuck to Kaido because the spoon was metal. So basically Kaido was magnetized and whatnot. So basically the metal spoon stuck to Kaido before Stacy ate his sundae. So basically Kaido was explain to his grandma that that Tadashi over here we met some time ago. So basically he's just here touring, and that's what Stacy and Kaido agree on the story right there. So basically Kaido's grandma went to go get Stacy a plastic spoon, and that's when they was that's when they had that conversation, like, what the hell are you doing here, Stacy? So basically this is your hideout. So basically Zuma figured that Zuma and the others figured that he was there to find their hideout and whatnot, and tell the enforcers. But Stacy made it clear that I'm just here minding my own business. So basically, all of a sudden, the magnetic field that came stronger on Zuran, Gown, Majin, and Broom. The magnetic field that got magnetized by the magnet monster's magnetic field that he used to magnetize them came stronger, because after all, Zuma and the others are still robots. So basically, the magnetic field came too strong, and they had no choice but to lead the shot. And Kaido tried to run after him, but the magnetic power was too strong, and Majin got stuck under a under a vending machine, and Kaido tried to help Majin get that vending machine also, but the magnetic field that he magnetized was too strong. So basically Kaido had no choice but to go back to Stacy, to go back to the shop and ask Stacy for his help. But unknown to him, Zox was outside, listening to the whole conversation. So basically, So basically Stacy was helping, helping Kyle's grandma tighten up after the others, magnetized field, kind of move everything around the shop. Like Stacy, Tyler's grandma gave Stacy to helping her tidy up, he finished eating his lunch and he was leaving, and that's when Tyler showed back up when he was leaving, or I asked for Stacy's help, and Stacy said, get the hell out of my face, and Tyler was begging him to help his friends, to help Boom matching, to help matching the others with their magnetic situation. So basically, Stacy was kept on saying no, kept on saying, why should I help you? I tried to destroy you. He tried to destroy you and your friend. So basically, Zox showed up. That is true. That's true, Kyle. The dude did try to kill you, and you asked him for his help. And you asked him you asked him for this dude's help asking for this dude's help. So basically, Zox was being skeptical because Stacy did try to screw Zox over, so basically Zox is still pissed that that Stacy did try to screw him over in a previous episode. So anyway, meanwhile, the magnetic situation with Maggie being pinned down by a Byzantine by her magnetism, things got worse for Boom. Boom got pinned down by a truck, got magnetized between a truck and a car, and the only one that was still standing was Gal and Zuan. But so basically, turns out that the magnetism attracted the clock Kyle battleship was being magnetically attracted to Zuan and Gal. So basically, even though Flint tried her best to try to stop the ship from going towards Zuan and Gal, but the magnetic pull was too strong. So basically, she was trying to do her best to try to get the ship away from Zuan and Gal, but the magnetic pull the magnetism from Zuan and Gal was too strong. So basically, Flint couldn't pull the ship away from Gal and Zuan's magnetic pull. So anyway, meanwhile, back at the bad guy's palace headquarters, the magnetic monster was giving Gene a report that, about that he basically got all the Zenkaigers, right where they want them. So basically, we just have to let the magnetic feel that I cast on them to do the rest of the work. So basically, Gene, being King Walker's robot bear, was happy with the progress and say that I'll look forward to your update. So anyway, and that's when Stacy showed up and told the magnetic monster that there's some weird there's some talking about some, set the magnet monster up. That there's this group of people in Cairo hanging out somewhere. Blah blah. Stacy set up the basically set up the magnetic monster send the magnetic monster into a trap where Kaido and Zox was waiting for him, and they morphed up and started to rather the magnetic monster. So basically, Stacy Caesar, did help Kaido by setting up the magnetic monster into a trap that Zox and Kaido was waiting for out in this mountain area. So anyway, so basically, even though Kaido was still kind of magnetized, but he wasn't that magnetized. So Sashin, his bird Sashin was still stuck to him. So anyway, so basically Zox and Kaido started to fight the magnetic monster. So basically the magnetic monster seemed and a bunch of protesters seemed to have an upper hand against Zenkaiger, against Kaido aka Zenkaiger and Zap aka Two Kaiser. So basically, and that's when Rishi Zuran and Gao showed up and then decided to use the magnetic powers against the monster, and guide the crocodile spaceship towards the monster, and the monster had no choice but to demagnetize Zuran and down, and also Kaido. So basically, the spaceship. So basically, down and Zuran that magnetism was moving the Kaido spaceship towards the monster, and the magnetic monster didn't had no choice but to demagnetize Zuran and down, and also demagnetize Kaido as well, because he did not want to get hit by the Kaido spaceship. So anyway, so basically after Zuran and Gao and Kaido got demagnetized, working together. So basically, and that's when Sashin suggested that that Kaido used the five-man Sentai gear, and that's when Kaido gained the fidget knowledge of the five-man Red Ranger. So basically, Kaido gained the fidget power, gained the fidget genius of the Red Ranger from Fireman, and he said that Maddox weaken when they're exposed to heat. So basically took hard to transform into a Shikino during his fire attack, and out of nowhere, Rishi Zuran start to shoot fire from his dinosaur chest, and working together as a team, they managed to destroy the magnet monster, and basically every Kaiwa, every human in the city were finally demagnetized, and basically the day was saved. But as usual, a giant foot soldier monster showed up and absorbed the power of the magnetic chosen gear, indicate a giant magnet monster. So basically, two Kaido tried to transform his ship into Megazord mode, but the giant magnetic monster, demagnetized two Kaido ship, and forced demagnetize two Kaido. So basically, like I'm trying to say is Kikai tried to form his Megazord, into Owen form, but the power of the magnet monster demagnetized, his Megazord, and sent it flying, sent him and his Megazord flying. So basically, when Maggie and the others showed up, and tried to form the Megazords, they got demagnetized as well. They couldn't combine either. But being working together as a team, Magazine Boom, Down, and Zuran worked together and used the magnetic monster's power against him, and they was able to destroy the giant magnetic monster, and basically the day was saved. So basically, thanks to help of Stacy, thanks to some help from Stacy, they was able to destroy the magnetic monster, and the giant they was able to destroy the magnetic monster, and took out the giant magnetic monster as well. So anyway. So anyway, later that night at later that night at the bad guy's palace, like so basically we see Jean, Tibeta Aizen, we see Jean, Tibeta Aizen coming back in, and Stacy, was having a conversation about so basically Colonel Bashin, and Tibeta Aizen rubbing Ging's barrier in his face. So basically, like, oh, you stupid, your monster fell. So basically, was making fun of Ging the robot bird, Colonel Bark, of King Barker, that that your magnetic monster fell. So basically, like, no, oh wow, so yeah, this is the second time. Yes, I'm aware that this is the second time. This is the second time that I did. This is the second monster that I chose to deal with the Zenkaiger. It failed to destroy the Zenkaiger, but this is the thing that even though but I'm still the master's favorite. I'm still the even though I am a robotic bird, I'm still the master's favorite. I'm still the master's favorite. So basically, get that in mind. So basically, getting put Aizen and Batshit in check. And also, Gilly told Stacy that I know what you did, Stacy, today. So basically, I'll keep that secret between us. So basically, Gilly knows that Stacy helped the Zenkaiger defeated his magic monster. So basically, James said, I won't tell King Borko what you did. This secret stays between us. And James this full way into the palace. Meanwhile, we see Cairo helping his grandma clean up, while the others were still after being run around all day, being magnetized. The others were asleep after tired from running around after being magnetized all day. So anyway, basically Kaido's grandma was wondering how do you know Sadaki, or better known as Stacy. So basically Kaido kind of the truth that he and him had a fight a while ago. So basically, I've been trying to make that up to him. So basically, the next time that he does come in, tell him that the next Sunday that he ordered is on me. So basically, Kaido's grandma believe what Kaido was saying, but I believe that she's no idiot. But basically, she is going to figure out the truth that that Stacy is a bad guy. But but for now, it seems like Kaido's grandma was happy. And the episode ended with Kaido. With Kaido helping his grandma finish cleaning up, and while the others slept, and that's how the episode ended. So anyway, that was a good episode. So basically, it was a funny, goofy episode. So basically, this gives us the hope that this might give us a hope maybe that Stacy might join the others. But we just have to wait and see. But anyway, this was just a good episode. So anyway, what do you guys think about this episode? So anyway, please tell me in the comments below. Anyway, like always, it's Cynthia Michael from Screen Reviews. Sign off. 1.